Yay. Okay. Welcome, everyone. It is Friday, July 6th, 2018. This call is intended to give you guys a system to help track your activity, which leads to results. So I have a special guest, Jenny Newt. Jenny, say hi to everyone.
Hi.
She's beautiful. I've been working with Jenny for a little over a year. She's my personal business coach, so I kind of consider that like my master's in my personal business. So she knows a good amount of you guys in my org because we troubleshoot, we brainstorm, and we were talking about who's ever on the phone. Can you just mute yourself, please? So. Okay, so we've been talking about in some of our connections with some of you guys, my team leaders, we have been chatting about what you're doing in the time that you have your scheduled work time with WildTree. And so when Jenny and I were troubleshooting it, we're like, well, these CSFs, which if you guys have been around for a little bit, you've heard of, which are critical success factors, are awesome, but they are not exactly what we need. So Jenny and I took a call and we brainstormed. And so we came up with this system, and this system is really, what we're going to do with this is we're going to trial it. So all of us are going to trial the system, and if it works, we are going to share it with everybody else, because if it works, why not share, right? So what we're doing right now is we're going to give a good 12 weeks, and I'll talk about this a little bit more after Jenny talks, good 12 weeks to really look at the system, see how it's working, what needs to be tweaked. We're not in love with this system. We know that it might need some fixing. We know that it needs input from you guys. We know that it needs tracking. So that's where you guys come in, because Jenny and I can't do it on our own. So we need you guys, the people who are working your business, who are growing, who want to grow, who have goals to meet, to really work the system. So I'm going to have Jenny talk because she can really share why we're doing this, the intention, why you want to do it, and how to do it. Sound good?
Sounds awesome. Fabulous. Hi guys, happy Friday. I first wanted to say thank you for spending your Friday morning or early afternoon with me. And I first wanted to say I am so proud of what you guys have accomplished collectively together. And you inspire me. I absolutely love working with the WildTree ladies. It's been so much fun. And just like Mandy said, we wanted you guys to, be a pilot program of what we intend and want to initiate company-wide. So you guys will be the first ladies to test this out, and just to be an amazing example, company-wide for growth in the business and success, and to just have a little paradigm shift of what it takes to be a director and get to the success level of whatever that means to you guys here at WildTree. So at the end, Mandy is going to introduce that new tracking sheet she was talking about. And before that, I wanted to cover the why behind it. So I wanted to talk to you about consistency. That is a word that I am implementing in my life in 2018. And where confidence comes from, inconsistency. And then we are going to discuss, confidence can be developed and strengthened in every single area of our lives, not just our career, not just in WildTree, but in every area that you want it to thrive for you guys. So first, we're going to talk about the 3 types of confidence that you guys, if you guys can take notes or have like pen and paper or just on your computer, that would be great. And then from there, I'm going to give you a 3-step process that I use to gain consistency in my life. Some of the stuff that we go over right now is going to hit home for you guys. Some of it won't, but my goal just with this recording and talking to you guys today is that you get 1 or 2 that I share that you can start implementing to jumpstart more confidence within yourself, and that you can go into Denver hitting the ground running. And this will be the start of that 12-week system that Mandy was just talking about. Okay? Are you with me up to now? Okay. So there's 3 types of confidence. The first type is false confidence. The second type is conditional confidence. And then the third type is unconditional confidence. And our goal is to progress through the 3 types of confidences quickly to end up with unconditional confidence in every single area of our life. So just a brief overview of what false and conditional confidence are. False confidence is saying that you can do something, but deep down inside, you think that there is no way to actually do it. It's fake confidence, fake self-talk, I like to say. A good example is someone who talks to their friends and they act like they're Superwoman, but when they are put into an unfamiliar situation, a scary situation, they change from this Superwoman, this fake self-talk, to just being super scared. And it comes from fear. It comes from fear deep down inside. So sometimes we all have false confidence. It's that whole fake it until we make it mentality. However, our goal is to move away from false confidence as soon as possible. So then the next level of confidence that we can get into is conditional confidence. And this is why Wild Tree can be so frustrating and emotional at times. It's because we develop this conditional confidence where we attach our self-worth into our results, aka whether we just had a really great party, or whether we just recruited somebody new, or we just had $700 in PV from a Facebook event. So many people have really, successful party. Their confidence goes way up. They're so excited for about a week. And then they have no sales and no parties on the books. And their confidence bottoms out. So conditional confidence makes us live in this, we hit peaks, then we hit valleys. It's like a roller coaster of emotions. And you're just putting all of your confidence on that result, on that party. And you're not looking at the deeper picture of where confidence actually comes from. So the main thing we're talking about right now is the third level of confidence that we want to get to. And that third level of confidence, I want you guys to write it down, is unconditional confidence. It is the most important type of confidence that you can get. And it separates all of, the top producers in Wild Tree, all the directors that are doing really, really well, compared to people that are just average. And top producers who strive for unconditional confidence have that swag in them. You see them in Denver and they just have it going on. You're like, I want whatever she has. It's a confidence that is shown, and it's not fake, and it's in every area of their life. So we can develop unconditional confidence within ourselves, and it's all based on our beliefs, our belief system, and our habits that we have formed. And to develop this unconditional confidence, you need to know that you alone are responsible for the work habits that you create. And every day you gain more confidence by focusing on your habits and focusing on what we can control in our everyday life. Because there's so many uncontrollables that can happen to us. There's so many events, family-oriented, even weather or things that come up that you just were not intending at all. And we need to start focusing on what we know we can control and let go of the things that we know we can't control. So we're going to talk about the 3 key areas that anybody can control every single day of your life. And one of my goals every day is to control these 3 things, no ifs, ands, or buts. And then everything else will just follow suit and play out how it plays out. So the 3 key areas that you can control, guys, and remember, this is all coming back to developing more confidence in ourselves, more self-worth for ourselves. And then in turn, it will make every area of our life more consistent with making us better day by day. So the first key area I want to talk about is your attitude. It's the self-talk and your energy level. No one can control your attitude besides you. Knowing and believing that you were created for a purpose and having that positive self-talk, most important focus for anyone's life. Your energy level is your choice. Your attitude is your choice. How I like to mention attitude and self-talk is I just want you guys to evaluate what are you doing every single day that helps you start the day on a positive foot. Some things that I have self-evaluated lately was my social media, how much time I was spending on social media, and what my routine was in the morning looking at my Facebook or looking at my Instagram. So I told Mandy yesterday, because she sent me a Facebook message, I was like, I'm actually on a 2-month cleanse of social media. I'm not going on it. So I said, you have to find out how to communicate me elsewhere because I'm not on social media right now. So what I mean by your attitude and your self-worth, what are things that you're doing every day that's filling your cup instead of draining your cup? And I like to say, like, what are the songs that you're listening to in the morning? Do you have like a pump up song that you guys can put on and just feel great about yourself? Mine right now, I was just listening to it before this call, was Hall of Fame. I love it by the script. It just gets me in a really good mood. So what is that? What's those things that you can put in your life that will help your attitude? And your morning routine, a book that has absolutely changed my life is Miracle Morning. I don't know if any of you guys have read it, but Miracle Morning has just completely revamped the way that I wake up in the morning, what my morning routine is, how I'm starting my day, putting myself in a great mood, drinking the water, the 16 ounces of water within 30 seconds as soon as I wake up. Just things like that that's going to help provide myself energy throughout the day, knowing that I have a lot of things that are going to come up. So key area number 1 that we can control is our attitude, our self-talk, and our energy level. Number 2 is your schedule. And you determine your schedule. You are in complete control of your time. And that's why I love Wild Tree so much. I mean, Mandy, I talked to her when she was getting on her plane yesterday to go to Hawaii. Like, that's incredible. This weekend, she's just felt like it. She just felt like taking a little trip with her fam. So she's out in Hawaii and she's still, quote unquote, working. You have vacations that you can choose. You have the flexibility. Some of you guys are outside right now on this phone call and just enjoying the day. You have the location that you can choose where you work. You have your weekends that you can take off or not take off. You have play dates where you can actually make play dates with your kiddos and do calls and make calls and follow-up calls and make it more fun with accountability. One thing Kayla Troutman does is she goes to the park and she just gets some of her team members to come with her and they just make calls together while the kids are playing. Like, you have the flexibility to do whatever you choose to do every single day. And you just need to be intentional and be strategic and think ahead of time so that you can get stuff done as well and be efficient and effective in your time. But one of the main reasons why you guys do WildTree, I'm sure, is the flexibility of it. And I would just encourage you guys every day to be consistent, where you're thinking of that 1 hour in your day that you can dedicate to making yourself better and putting your confidence in that schedule. Because I know every day is just, it can be different requirements, seasons, the summer versus the fall, all of that. So just thinking ahead of time, planning out on a weekend when those consistent time frames are, not on a daily basis, but on a weekly basis. Because that's why you guys do WildTree. You don't need to work every day. You just need to be consistent on a weekly basis with activity. And then number 3 is the activity within the schedule. So no one can force you to work. You have to decide to get as much done as possible, or whatever you want with the time allowed. One thing that we do at Southwestern is we actually break our day into goal periods, because it's hard for me to say, okay, I'm going to dial today and I have 8 hours to dial. But it's easy for me to say, okay, I have an hour right here where I can just get 10 phone calls out of the way and then I'm done for the day. So breaking your day into little goal periods, whether that's like goal period for your family, goal period for planning for the week, goal period for getting your activity in, goal period for a date night. But just making sure that goal periods are happening so you're splitting your time up equally and where you want to. And then the key to being unconditionally confident and having self-worth is just not attaching your self-worth to your personal volume, to your org volume, to the number of recruits you have. Your gauge on whether you're doing well or not should not have anything to do with results. Nothing at all. It's not about your PV at the end of the month. It's not about you recruiting 2 people or 5 people by the end of the month. It has nothing to do with that. Your self-worth, your confidence just needs to come into the activity, your attitude, and your schedule. That way, when you look at yourself at the end of the day, you're not going to ask yourself, oh, did I have a good party today? Or did I do everything I could to recruit that person? Instead, I want you to ask yourself in the mirror, did I focus on controlling my controllable habits today? Did I do my dead level best? And if you can confidently say yes, then I would be so proud of you for that day. It doesn't care. I don't even care if you even worked that day. If you just did your dead level best that day with all of the controllables that you can control and all the uncontrollables that happen to you, and you at least looked at it with a positive mindset, you are a winner in my book and in Mandy's book and in anyone else's book. So a good positive affirmation, I'll send it to Mandy and she can send it off to you guys for unconditional confidence, is I'll read it to you. It's just a quote that I have in my bathroom. So I look at it when I'm like brushing my teeth or getting ready at night. I do not expect success all the time, but due to my belief in my gifts and God-given abilities, in addition to my knowledge and my skills, I can be fearless in the moment. In reality, self-worth has nothing to do with outcome. So when the pressure comes, I cannot hesitate, knowing sometimes I will do well and sometimes I won't. Regardless, I know failure is temporary and success will happen with perseverance. So I'll send that quote to Mandy. She can forward it off to you guys. But it's just making sure that, your self-talk and your attitude is knowing in yourself. It's not if I had a good month or a bad month when it comes to results. It's asking yourself, was I consistent? Did I just try my best that week? And when you can say yes, you should be very proud, no matter what the result was at the end of the day, because that's where your confidence will come. So I created 3 steps to gaining confidence for yourself. And so I'm going to explain my 3 steps to you. I actually have it written here on a goal card that's right in front of my my computer when I'm making dials. So step 1, these are for you to write all the things that you know you will not have if you do not stay consistent with this job. Because, you know, we don't see things, good things in our business happening until weeks out. The effort that you put in June is going to be what you see in July or August. It's like this delayed gratification. So we need to write down all the things that you know you will not have if you are not consistent. So just an example of what I have on mine is I have confidence. I know I won't have confidence if I'm not consistent with my habits today. I know I won't have the freedom to travel. I know that I won't have this New York City living I want to have because it's so expensive here if I don't create the habits now for later on success in the future. So what are those things that you know you will not have for your family and yourself if you are not consistent? That's step 1, for you to write all those things down. Step 2 is I want you to write your 3 confidence anchors. So I want you to go back into your life. It can be in high school, it can be in college, it can be early 20s, late 20s, whatever it was in your life. I want you to write down the 3 experiences that are not work related that you cannot believe you accomplished, that you cannot believe that you did. These are what I call your confidence anchors. Just things, whether it has to do with traveling or a different perspective or overcoming a challenge when you were younger or creating yourself and molding yourself in a situation that you just couldn't believe that you did. 3 confidence anchors that gives you this confidence that you have within yourself to strive for to strive for better and determine who you are today. And then step 3, after your 3 confidence anchors, I want you to write down, what will I be able to do? When I am consistent for the next 12 weeks with habits that I've formed, what will that provide me later on in life? Is it that trip to Colombia you really want? Is it that Tiffany's bracelet that you can get? Is it that recognition that you want? Is it that dream house you always wanted? Is it just paying for mortgage and taking over some bills? Is it paying for the kids' education? Like, what are the things for the next 12 weeks that you know that when you create these consistent habits, you will have 5 months down the road, 6 months down the road? And what will you be able to do with it? So Mandy had a brilliant idea, and we've been brainstorming this for the past week or 2 of just how can we make this more fun for you guys to not put your confidence in your result, but put it back onto your activity and back onto the pillars of success. And so she actually created and revamped a sheet where we don't want to measure daily and we don't want to measure monthly. We want our measurement to be a weekly basis, because in a week, there are definitely days that you guys cannot work for family circumstances, for situations, for vacations, whatever it is. There are days that you won't be working. But then on a weekly basis, there's at least going to be a day where you can put your confidence in your activity and yourself. So Mandy's going to take it away right now. She is going to explain the sheet that she created for you guys and explain what each pillar means. And we only have 5 different things that we are going to be tracking compared to like the 8, 9, 10 that is out there. We're simplifying it, and we're making it an activity where it should be fun and it can be like a competition for yourself. So Mandy, you can take it away now and explain the sheet.
Okay. I had to unmute my phone because I have it, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to screen share with you guys. Does anybody have questions on Jenny's portion with what she shared before I dive into like how we're going to track activity? I see a lot of you taking notes and writing things down. That's awesome. Okay, so this is recorded, so you can always come back to it too. Okay, so let me go ahead and screen share. There we go. No, maybe not. There. Okay. So I'm going to share this with you guys, and I sent this all via your inbox or via that PM already. So when Jenny and I were talking, and talking to several of you guys, I've heard some of you say, I'm working my business 3 hours a day and I'm getting nowhere. Like, it's just not working. And so for me, I'm looking at that and being like, okay, so good for you at working your business. Now let's talk about what you're working on. How can you make that 3 hours or 2 hours or whatever it is, your large chunk every few days, be productive and effective for you? So this is where this comes in. Now we're going to work like this name and all this. There's room for flexibility here, you guys. Again, we're going to trial this. We're going to see how it rolls. We're going to see how it works. We're going to get feedback. And then I'm going to see at the end of the call, we'll talk about as a group kind of, how to move forward. So this is measured on a weekly basis. Like Jenny said, some days you can't touch your business, and that's part of it, right? There are some days that you are going to work harder than others, and that's fine. The thing is that on a weekly basis, you're working your business, and you're going to make up for it within the week. Okay. So the very first thing is, this is weekly. You want to have 2 in-person parties a week. Ideally, that's a goal. I know some weeks you have 3, and some weeks you have none. Some weeks you have 1 and 2, whatever it is. But ideally, you want to work on having 2 in-person parties a week. I know personally, when I was working full time, I would stack. So I would do like 3 parties one week and 1 the next, or none the next, and kind of, like stack it. I would do 4 or 6 parties in 2 weeks and then 1 at the end of the month, or however, like I would really stack it based on my personal schedule and my husband's travel schedule. Again, but you want to take it and look at the whole weekly or the whole month, but we're going to track week. Okay, so 2 in-person parties. I want you to note here too, this is not Facebook parties. This is not vendor events. This is literally in-person parties, people you are in front of. Those other things are great to grow your business and great to get in front of new faces, but it is not a means to supplement your parties, okay? Parties are our tasting party or our freezer meal workshop, okay? All right, the next one is 20 faces. Ideally, you want to have 10 people per party. That's on average usually our goal. So if you have 10 people per party and you have 2 parties a week, that's going to be 20 faces. Now, let's say you only have 8 people at each party. That means you have 4 faces to make up. That's when you do one-on-one calls. We did some training with that a while back. I can also share that, how to do that, how to implement that, setting the buying atmosphere for that. And it's something that in the future that we're going to continue to work and grow on as well. So you want to be in front of 20 faces, and ideally those are new faces. You're going to have people who are repeat workshoppers. You don't want to put those down. Instead, you want to really focus on 20 new faces, and this has 20 faces for you. The next column is 2 to 3 conversations on the opportunity. I think that 3 should really be the ideal goal here. But this is really having those conversations. We have that Discover Wild Tree event every Sunday night. This is a great way to start that conversation. It's a great way for you a recruiting tool for you guys to use when you don't feel the confidence in recruiting yet. It is literally laid out for you. And another thing here is doing 3-way calls with your upline. Oh my God, a bird just like landed on me. Is doing 3-way calls with your upline. So they can literally model the conversation that you want to have with your recruits. Again, we do this together until you're ready to fly on your own. So we're not just going to push you out of the nest and be like, here you go, you need to go do this. Instead, we really work together for that. Okay. So if you're wondering how that works, connect with your upline or myself. And then 1 new team member. Yes, I realize if we track this for 4 weeks, that's 4 new team members a month, but why not dream big? Ideally, we want to go for 3 new team members a month. So what's one more? Some months you're going to have more, some months you're going to have less, and that's totally okay. But overall, you want to shoot for 1 new team member a month. And then the follow-up phone calls. This is 50 follow-up phone calls. If you really calculate this out, it's 10 calls a day. However, you guys don't always work every single day. I also know personally that I love, if I'm going to get on the phone, I want to make my 20, 30, 40, 50 calls at once versus making 10 calls a day, whatever works best for you. Honestly, the thing is here is that you're doing it, that you're following up with your customers. What sets you apart from Blue Apron or the grocery store is that it's you. It's you. You are the person behind your business. And because of that, you're building that personal relationship with people. These are phone calls, you guys. Yes, some of them could lead to texting or messages on Facebook, but ideally they want to be phone calls. That's where a lot of people feel, that's where a lot of the relationships are building. And the key here I also want to let you guys know is that 1 or 2 phone calls to people is not going to cut it. If you've been doing calls with me, that's 100% what we've been talking about. How many times do you need to call people and connect with them to get results and to get what you want, or to get a response, or to get an answer? You guys know it. It's 5 to 7. So this is key here too. And I'll talk about how you can track that on the back of the sheet. Okay. So it's 50 phone call follow-up. Any questions on this that you guys see right here? No questions? Okay. So I'm going to move on to the next portion, which is tracking your stats. If you are doing this on a consistent basis, your stats are going to come in. Now, I'm a numbers person. These stats may frustrate you, but I want you to just take a deep breath and realize that your activity gets results. So do it over time. We're going to do this for 12 weeks, and there's a reason for that, because this is not an instant gratification business. It's not you do something, you get something type of business. What you do now is going to pay off in the next month, 2 months, 3 months, and that's exactly how this works. Yoda and I did not get to director in a matter of 2 months. It's compound. We worked our business. We got the team leader. We asked others to join us. We got them on board to help support them and grow their business. They get the team lead to get it. Like, it's not instant gratification. So it's over time, the compound of you doing your actions on a daily, weekly basis is what gets you to where you want to go. Okay. So the reason why we're going to track stats though is because over time, if you're doing these actions and you're actually doing these, you're going to get the stats. One thing I want you to know here is that there is not host coaching on here, because that's a given. You guys know that in order to get in front of enough people here, you need a host coach, right? That's just the 101. If you're not sure how to do that, this is when you guys need to connect with your upline. I will tell you that I personally coach with Jenny. I also pace with a few other people, directors within the company. And those are like my coaching calls. Those are my ways to keep me accountable, to keep me asking questions, to really learning more and growing from other people. It is part of your kind of growth plan for you to really connect. So a weekly call with your upline team leader or director is critical. It's super important here for growth. So again, because what we can look at, and we can take the sheet and literally look at, like, okay, you're doing this, but you're not getting the results you want. So let's talk about what you're doing and how you're doing it, so we can make some tweaks, be coachable in what's going on, and really work through that. So then we can analyze and say, okay, well, this looks like the breakdown. Let's work through that. Okay. So this is kind of like your color and tracker. It's fun, whatever. Now, how can we track this? It's really easy to color something in, but not really, but I wanted more. And the reason why I wanted more is so you can actually look at and figure out where the breakdown is. So the back of the sheet, it literally, you're taking each of these categories and writing it out. So your 2-party hosts, 2 parties a week connected to here. Your 20 faces right here, 20 faces. Write down the people you're at parties. It may take you a few extra minutes a week to do this, But again, it's that tracking. So you're really accountable. So you're like, oh, there was 8 people at that party. But in reality, you look at it and you're like, oh, there was actually only 6. I was just guessing. This allows you to be really true to like what you're doing and how you're doing it, because it's literally right there for you. It's a tracking part. Your 2 to 3 meaningful conversations about the opportunity. You can make notes here. Who are you inviting to the Discover Wild Tree every Sunday night? And so on and so forth. And then your 2 to 3 meetings, and then your 1 new team member who joined your team that week, and then your 50 phone follow-ups to customers. Now, this is something where you guys are going to track. Each person is going to have a different little tracking system, and what works for one may not work for another. I personally use just like a cheap school calendar that's day by day, like the horizontal. It's up in my room, so I don't even have it with me to show you, but horizontal. And I write down my calls and who I'm connecting with that day. And I'll write down host coaching calls. I'll write down team member calls. I'll write down whose opportunity. I just kind of track it all there. One thing I want you to remember here, though, is that the key is follow up. It's not 1 or 2 times. It is 5 to 7. And that's the key here. So whatever that looks like for you, if you want to write them in this portion right here, you totally can do that. If you want to have another sheet that you track it, if you want to do it in your phone, honestly, I don't care how you do it. The key is that you do it and that you're following, okay? Some tricks that have worked with other people is that you write their name, like let's say you write it in black right here. And let's say the next, like a few days you call them, you're going to put like a circle right by their name. So you know that's the second call. And then the third call, you're going to highlight it yellow. And then the third call, you're going to write their name and highlight it green. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Just find a means that works best for you. And the key is that you track or do tallies. Like this is my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Doesn't matter. One of the things that I've found in this follow-up that's huge is, and that holds me accountable, is that I literally tell people, hey, I'm going to follow up with you XYZ, or I schedule that call to follow up, because that holds me accountable. Because if I don't call them, it looks bad on me, right? So I'm literally like letting them know, like, this is what you can expect from me, and go ahead and follow up and do that for them. I think that's it. In this, is there anything that you guys have questions on? Or is there anything that, as seasoned team leaders, that you guys see that is missing on this?
Jenny,
Anyone?
you guys rock. This is awesome. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. So I just wanted to clarify too, the follow-up is, the host coaching calls are not included in the follow-up phone calls. Is that correct? Or would that be?
Pretty typically, I don't include them. My goal, and I tell my org this too, is that I try to connect with my host 2 times a week, at least. Like that's kind of my goal. And I also try to do it via phone versus text messaging. And I'm super upfront and honest, being like, hey, I know you're so busy. Can we just make a quick minute on the phone today? Like, I just call it like it is. Like, they're busy, I'm busy. Like it's life, you know. I typically do not add those in. Ideally, those are those people who came to your parties last week. One thing to do here that I have encouraged people to do is I look like, okay, so Casey's party is July 7th. I'm actually going to go plug in on my paper planner, or if you want to use this sheet and you print it out in advance, write in like, okay, July 9th, I'm going to, if it's like one of my office days, because I usually work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, usually depends on the week, I will write in on that Tuesday, like connect with people in Casey's party. So I'm literally doing that. And then 2 weeks later, connect with Casey's party from 6-7. And then 2 months later, connect with Casey's party. So it holds me that accountable for that. Those are your follow-ups. But ideally, it would not be host coaching. Now, if you're struggling to get your dials, I get it. But I mean, 50 phone calls can literally probably take you 2 hours throughout the week if you really calculate that in.
I'm just wondering if we should add host coaching somewhere on the sheet. Like maybe, I just think it's so crucial. And I know like Chris and Garza asked her about, and you guys see stats all the time and all the applause and stuff. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking right there. That's perfect because, and you know what, Mandy, maybe you put like little, what would you guys say is like the average that I'm at the lake, so there's jet skis and boats in the background. This is why I wild tree, so I can work from the lake. But what would you think about putting, or how many times do you think we contact a host, between the time we book the party? I know it varies depending on how far out their party's booked, but would you say that it would be fair to say that we would host coach each hostess at least like 4 times, so that maybe you could put like 4 little dashes under there that we just put a check mark? Or, well, actually, that's not going to work, right?
I think I like the 2 times. I think I like 2 times a week, because if you book the party in 4 weeks or if you book the party in 2 weeks, it tells you like, oh, there's 2 times this week, 2 times that week.
And
I think this is also
per week.
This is also this is also variable. Like, this is where coaching and connecting with your upline team leader or director is important, so you can talk through to get the jam and the jive that works best for you in that aspect.
Mm-hmm. So do you think down at the bottom, like where it says follow-up calls, maybe just put host coaching down there too, and then that's kind of your own system on, like scroll all the way down to the back page, and maybe put like add your host coaching there, and then that's just a reminder to have some kind of a host coaching tracking system. And I actually have an idea for a new sheet that I wanted to see if Wild Tree would implement on just a party organizer sheet. I feel like maybe that would be like an additional tracker that we would have.
And we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. I think once we track activity, I think that's a great idea. Like, I think that's something on the agenda to like, how can you do that? So how I envision this, you guys, is I told you I have that planner with my calls. I'm gonna print out 12 of these sheets. Maybe not 12, because again, we're going to tweak it throughout the process, but I'm going to print out 4, and I'm literally going to paperclip it in that week. So it's literally in my planner, and that planner goes with me everywhere. So like, that's not my actual like hardcore planner. That's just like my call planner, like my call log. And that goes with me along with my regular planner. So I carry both of those with me at all times, because it's my business. Like I call it like my business on the go, or like my little business, my desk. So that's what I'm going to do that. So I think Yoda, that's a great idea, because we can just do one sheet and like, okay, these are the important topics, and just break it down. I think we should put that on the calendar for August, once after STIR, so we can look at like the stuff that's coming out at STIR, and knowing like there's amazing things coming, and so we can put that on the calendar for August. So let's table that for August.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That's my opinion.
And okay. I think I just wanted the girls to just realize the importance of host coaching, because back to what I was going to say about Carissa is, when I ask her, like, what does your day look like? She's got 4 kids, you guys. She's crazy busy. Like, she has a million things going on. And she had $10,000 in personal volume the month she gave birth to her 4th child. So there's no excuses really to us being successful. And she said the one thing, if nothing else gets done that day, she always makes sure she does her host coaching, because that's how you're going to see those, 80 faces a month or 20 faces a week. So I just wanted to make sure that, everybody's getting to their host coaching in addition to their pillars, but it all goes hand in hand for sure. So this is so awesome.
I love that you said that. I mean, I think that is something of importance too. Like, if all else fails, you need a host coach. So if your calendar sucks this month, but you have parties next month, you need a host coach those parties, because if not, your calendar is going to suck next month, to be totally honest. So it goes hand in hand. If all else fails, you need a host coach. And I'll tell you too, like, if your calendar sucks now, doesn't mean it needs to suck tomorrow, because you have control of that. Like Jenny said, like, you have 100% control. If you get on the phone and you start calling for dials, like, you can literally book your calendar within a heartbeat. So let's say July just isn't your month, and people aren't booking, and too busy, and vacations, and blah, 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 whatever 400 million excuses you have, or they have, doesn't mean that you can't book for August. So if they say, no, July is actually a really bad month, be like, hey, no worries. I totally get it. However, I mean, I book on a 12-month basis. So how about August or September? Like, you're calling it like it is. Like, you have 100% control of that by doing your phone calls and your dial-ups there. This also, you guys, this is the tracker, but this is not be all to end all. Like, I literally have a blank sheet of people who kind of owe me parties. People who like said, yeah, I want to host, but now it's not a good time. I put them on that sheet. Like, I track it, all of it. And you guys, here's the key. It is a blank sheet of computer paper. Like, that's it. It's nothing fancy. It's nothing like, oh, I have my colored pens and I can't write on it unless it's colored. It literally is a blank sheet of computer paper, and I write people's names on it. Because when I'm stressed and my calendar's stuck, I look at it and be like, look, I literally have 50 names on here that I can call and ask for parties. And guess what? It may not be a party right now. It may be a party next month or the month after. Great. It's a party. Or those people that have canceled or moved or whatever, put those people on there. It is all about making sure that you are writing those people down, because when you get down and your confidence tanks, you have a resource to go to be like, okay, this is okay. I control this, and I am going to call these people and ask for parties. Plain and simple. Same goes with recruiting. I will tell you that recruiting is the same with the instant gratification. Kim, who's on this call, who's now a team leader on my team, she has been a customer with me forever. Adrienne was one of my very first customers. She's now a team leader on my team. These people did not sign up in their first time meeting me, in their first year, in their first, like, they hosted with me several times before they were ready to jump in. I talked about the opportunity all the time. I continue to share. I had them on my list. Kim is the most recent, so I can talk about her, but like, we talked in like middle of like the fall last year, and then we talked a couple more times, and then finally in December she was ready. So that is the key, is that you're keeping track of those conversations, and that's why this sheet is so important, you guys, because you can literally go back 12 weeks and be like, oh my gosh, I had that conversation with Becky. I totally dropped the ball. I forgot that Becky was even interested. Like, I totally forgot. And so this reminds you, like, it is not too late to follow up with Becky or Susie or whoever it is about the opportunity. So remember that too. And that's why this tracking is so important, so you can continue to track. There's going to be some people that don't come with you. There's going to be some of these faces that literally are going to be your first and last time seeing them. But you have control of that. So if you follow up and then finally they say, I'm not interested, no big deal, move on to the next. Control how you respond to that. And this is why we do this. Because if that number one is not like, oh, that person, she wasn't interested, she actually came to the party, she was super negative. Guess what? You have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get it? There's so many other people that one person, move on, bless and release. Again, controlling that is why it's so important to connect with your upline, so you can work through that. Okay, I kind of went off on a tangent. Squirrel. Any other questions, Yoda? Those are awesome. I love it. Thanks for sharing that. Anybody else have questions or comments or things that like feel like we're missing or that you want to expand on? Anybody?
This is Jenny. I
Okay.
just want to say one last thing here. Huge on accountability. I think that accountability is just so healthy for putting it in every area of our life. So, one thing that Mandy and I did talk about was the fact that, oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh. If we can just do this, and like we said, you guys are like our pilot program. This has not been talked about with any other group yet. Every Sunday, all you need to do is like take a picture of this sheet and text it over to Mandy and myself. I would love like every Sunday to go back to the week and see your sheet that is filled out, and just do it for 12 weeks. That's all we ask. And we want to empower you guys. Any changes we want to make, anything that you just don't like or that needs to be added, like Yoda was saying, we encourage it. We want to hear the feedback. And If you guys, I got a new phone number, so if you do have my old number, you can delete it. It no longer exists. But if you guys can text myself and Mandy your sheet every like Sunday for the next 12 weeks, that would be great from the week before. My new phone number is 646-975-0960. That would be great. That's all we ask. And this is just a little more accountability under you guys. And I know here coming up at the end of July at the conference, they are going to roll out lots of great incentives and prizes and things that you guys can win. So just having this jump start for these 2 weeks here is going to help you guys hit even better and more goals throughout the year. So 12 weeks, this sheet, we want feedback. We want you to feel you are the say of all this. And we're here for any questions, concerns, or assistance.
Okay, so one thing, thank you, Jenny. You guys, you're amazing. Okay, so a few things I want to talk about before we get off the phone is how to move forward. One, I will tell you that between Yoda and I, we're gonna offer some incentives and carrots and fun things to really get you to start tracking. It will be your first few weeks, just like, has anybody heard 21 days make the habit? This is the same thing here. You guys, we're asking of you to make this commitment of 12 weeks. I know that sounds like a lot, but start with 1 week, then 2, then 3, then 4. Again, it's not the daily basis, it's the weekly basis. Be in control of your schedule. If you're not sure what that looks like, then connect with us. We'll help you with that. We'll support you with that. That's what we're here for. We've all been in your shoes, and if we haven't been in this situation that you're currently in, I will almost guarantee we know someone within our company that has, that we can connect you with or share their stories and solutions and strategies. Okay, so there's that. The next thing I want to know is, for those of you, we're going to need your commitment to dive into this with us. So some of you on this call might be thinking like, okay, this is not for me, I'm out, like I think it's great. No, but no worries. Like, we are not going to beg and plead you to do this. Instead, this is for you and your business and your goals. We want to really be a partnership with you. So if this isn't the time for you, great. You know that this is something that we hope to continue to use in the future for the entire company. But if you want to try it with us, connect with myself if I'm your director, or Yoda if she's yours, and let us know that you're in. I'm thinking that we should create a group on Facebook, and it's not a group intended to like be a distraction for you, but exactly what Jenny said, it's to message your picture of like, hey, look at where I'm at. Because for me personally, that drives me is seeing that other people are doing it. I'm like, oh crap, I need to do it too. And it kind of like makes you pick up your game a little bit. It's either a group, or we could do a private message between everybody that's in to make that commitment for that. I personally think the private message gets a little bogged down, so that's why I'm thinking group. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on that? If you're a group, shake your head yes.
I'm good with
yeah?
that.
Okay. Okay, it seems like there's more groups. Now, I'm going to tell you, the way that you can get in this group is by connecting with myself, or if Yoda is your director, and letting her know, yep, I'm totally in. We're going to get you the sheet, which I've already sent to you guys. And we're in this together. It's accountability. It is intended to help support and grow you in your business. Now, if in 4 weeks life changes and you're like, I can't do this, no big deal. Like, we are here to support you in your goals. We will take you out of the group, and when you're ready, you're welcome to come back in and jump in and join us. But we really want a good solid 12 weeks. Like, that is the intention here, is that we get a good solid 12 weeks, because that is going to give us good data. It's going to give us good feedback, and it's going to really allow us to analyze where things are not working, that disconnect. So it's not, I do now, I get now type of thing. So we're looking back and being like, okay, in 12 weeks, your business isn't where it's at, where you want it to be. What did we do the first 4, 6, 8 weeks? Okay. Any questions on this? This is open. So I personally opened it to not just team leaders, but people who have goals in WildTree. So I opened it to everybody, and even reps. So to really track and get them to team leader, if that's what their goals are, or just have consistent business, whatever that may be. Consistent business usually ends up being team leader because you're working consistently and sharing. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, carrots. These will be posted inside that group that I'll create. But I want you to know that if you're going to stir, there's a lot of amazing things coming out that you're going to be stoked for. There's going to be carrots. Yoda and I will also be doing some carrot summit. Her and I will connect over that about what we can offer you guys, and we'll post it in that group. So, and the reason being is that it just gives you some additional motivation and incentive to really work and track this. Okay, it's 10 o'clock. It's not 10 o'clock for most of you. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to create that group. Yoda, I'll add you. You can add your people. If you guys are in, make sure you let us know you're in so then we can add you to that group. There's a lot of people who are going to listen to playback. So if you're listening to playback, make sure you also let us know so we can add you to that group. Okay, you guys are amazing. I'm so excited. This is really ramping up your fall and amazingness, and where like literally people like double, triple their income here. Like no joke. So super excited. Thank you, Jenny, for your time. I appreciate you and pouring into us. Jenny will be at STIR also, you guys. So go up and introduce yourself to her. She's amazing. And she honestly is so invested in WildTree and helping us grow and really reach the goals that we want. So you guys, thank you so much. Have a great Friday.
Thanks, Mandy.
Bye.